Need to cut a hole in the tile? You're having trouble? Let me show you how I do it. Any size, any shape. So if you're installing tile of any kind, you're going to need to, at some point, drill a hole in a tile. You're going to have to create a hole of many different sizes to go over an escutcheon, to go over a mixing valve, to be able to set the tile. And a lot of times you don't have a lot of tolerances. I mean, the escutcheon plates sometimes can be very tight, so you don't have a lot of play in them. Other times you do have a good amount of play, so they don't have to be as neat. But anyway, you still have to get that hole done, and you have to get it done quickly, and you want it done as cleanly as possible. So I'm going to give you several options on how to do that. I have several different options. I got all kinds of hole saws that I use. Here's one, for example. These are diamond hole saws. You can also get away without a hole saw. You can use a grinder with a dry cutting blade. Sometimes you can use your wet saw to get it started, and then you can use a grinder to finish it off. And there's also another tool that I'm going to show you that will help you get the hole exactly where you need it to be, to get it to the right size, because there's a million different saws, hole sizes you can get, and you can't possibly have them all. I have a ton of them. I have a bunch of different ones, so I have pretty much all the sizes I need. But a lot of times, like this is a 4-inch, you need 4 1/4, and you need it. You don't have it, so you have to get the size of the hole to the right dimension. So how do you do that? I'm going to show you how to do that. And so I'm going to go over some of these types of hole saws that I have, and then I'm going to show you how to cut a hole in a tile efficiently and quickly. So anyway, let's get started. Let me show you some of the materials, some of the hole saws that I have. And if you're a professional, then you want to get a good set. If you're a DIYer, you can get away with with a cheaper one. Some of these aren't very expensive at all. Some of them are very expensive. So I'm going to show you what you can do to get the hole in the tile the size you need. Okay, so I have several different kinds of hole saws here. These ones here, which are Rubi, are more expensive. This is more expensive than this one. This is a cheaper version of this, and this has just got almost like a continuous rim hole saw. These work really good, and these ones here, as you're going to see, are a lot more aggressive. So the difference between the more expensive and the cheaper is you're going to get a lot more holes cut with this before they wear out than you will with this. Then I have a real cheap set of hole saws. This is a set from many different sizes, and then you can buy them individually. This is like a 5.5, or I think it's it's 5.5 inch hole saw. I got a 3-inch, and I think this is a 4-inch. So I got all different sizes, and these aren't the only ones. I actually have more in the truck, but I just thought I'd bring out a variety. And these here are all wet cut, and you have to use these with water so they don't overheat. If you don't use the water on it, it'll still cut, but it's going to overheat, and you're going to wear it down real quick. So you want to use these with water. If you don't want to use water, you can get this kind here. Let me pull this out of here. Just put this down for a second. This one here is a dry cutting, and it fits on your grinder. All these other ones here, they're all going to fit on a drill. So I am actually going to use this set here because probably most of the people watching this are not professionals. So I'm gonna use this set here, which is a really cheap set, and I'll put a link in the description to a lot of these, and also put a link to my Amazon store where you can find a lot of other materials that I use, other tools that I use. but I'll put a link to these here in the description, so if you need it, you can buy it. It's actually fairly inexpensive, I think. I don't want to say how much, but it's fairly inexpensive. These ones here, this one is not too expensive. You know, some of these hole saws cost more than this whole set. So you know, you get the ones that you need, and you don't need to get a ton of different ones, because you can use the grinder, as I'm going to show you, or you can use this tool here. So you can use this tool here on your grinder to change the size and shape of a tile. So anyway, let's get to the cutting of these holes. Okay, so I'm just going to use one of these here to show you. This is like a real cheap set. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description. So you can approach this two different ways. So you're going to need a drill. So you're going to put on the drill. You're going to need water. You're going to need water. So you need water. So you want to keep your drill on an angle. Hold it tight. If you've got a steady hand, this is how I do it most of the time, and you want to have your mark here, obviously, where you got to cut it. I'm just going to show you how to do it. And you get it going, lower it in on an angle, get it started, and you want to keep it wet. Then straighten it out as you go along. Keep it wet. And then you don't hold it straight. You want to like rock it. See how it's going through? And I'm through. And I kept it wet the whole time. Another way to do it if you don't have a steady hand is you can use a piece of cutting board, core it out, piece of foam board. You're going to have where you mark the tile. You're going to position exactly where it needs to be. Right? You're going to hold it down, and this acts like a dam. See, it acts like a dam, and it acts as like a guide. Once you get it started, you take it off. And there's your hole. Clean it up, and there's a hole. So you can use, if you confident and you have a steady hand, you can just do like a, bring it on an angle, straighten it out, and then do it that way. If you're not confident, just use a piece of board. A piece of 1/4-inch plywood will also work. The curdy board actually works pretty good too, or even some other kind of foam board. So that's the cheap one. Let's try a better brand. This is like a really inexpensive. You're going to get a bunch of holes out of this before it wears down. They don't last forever. So let's put a better bit on here and see how that works. Okay, so this is the Rubi. This is a more expensive one. It's the same size. Same size. Let's see how well this one cuts. Okay, so some water in there. Get it going. Keep it wet. So it's a little bit quicker when you got a more aggressive and better blade. Now you got to get this piece out of here. So you have to get this piece out of here. This piece in here, you have to get it out. They have a hole in here. So you can knock it out. These have like little slits on the side, but they always have some way of getting the piece out. So that's this one here. So what if you need a bigger hole and you don't have the right size bit or right size core bit? Let's say you need it to be just a little bit bigger, just approximately, but you don't have the core bit, or maybe you need it to be oval. Let's see how we can figure that out. I'm going to show you how to get this cut with a different tool. So if you want to get a different size cut and you don't have the hole saw, you're going to need a grinder. This is just a regular grinder and one of these. This is the shaping tool. Put this on the grinder. And then we're going to shape this. Now I don't have a clamp here because, so you probably want to clamp this on. I'm just going to go without the clamp. So you probably want to clamp this on though. And you got it exactly where you need to be, pretty quick. Say we want to do the oval, like this, go to that line there. Same thing. And there you have that shape there. So this is going to help you out when you have the hole saw, but you don't have the right size and you need to make it bigger. You can also use this to shape the outside of any kind of shaping of the tile. Say you got get a line here. Say you need to shape this like this. You don't even need a hole saw for that. Just grab this and go. probably best to, you know, get it close with the wet saw. I just don't want to set up my wet saw. Get it close with a wet saw, and then you can use the grinder bit to shape it to the right size. And there you have it shaped to the right size, to what you want. And this here you use dry. You don't need to have this wet. They also have another type of tool, but that's for another video. So hole could be bigger. Get it close. You can cut it with your wet saw to get it close. Now let's try with a grinder, and then finish off with this. Okay, so I need to make a hole over here. Let's just say this is the hole. I also mark that on the back. So you're going to use, I'll put a link in the description to this blade as well. This is an RTC. I think it's called Shield, and dry cutting. I'm gonna make this hole. Okay, so when you're using a grinder with a grinder blade, no matter what kind of blade, never remove the guard. I see a lot of guys, they take the guard off and they just have a freewheeling blade with no protection. These blades can shatter. They can fly into your face, into your neck, into your eye, anywhere. So never take the guard off, and make sure you use all safety precautions. I don't have anything with me, so I'm just going to use this. See if this fits. And there you have the hole. I wasn't really careful because it's just showing you how to do it, but you can get it neater than that. So you can use a combination of this, you can and your grinder. You can use the hole saws. You can use a wet saw to get it started. But you know, these are several ways on how to make a hole in a tile. Now, if you have to cut a square hole, all you can do is there's a square hole. You can finish it up with a middle of the tile. So that's a couple of different ways you can make a hole in a tile. Now I'm going to show you on a marble, so that's really a tough tile. This is a piece of marble, so this will actually go right through this. So this is really soft material, so it goes through really quick. So if you had a longer, well, let's say a round circle, like a shape like that, let's say. Actually, let's make it nice and neat. It's going to go through this marble like butter. Right up to your line. So a combination of this, hole saws, and your grinder, and this grinder here, and your wet saw. You can pretty much get any size hole shape you need. So if you say you've got a bigger cut like this, You don't want to grind that all out. So you can either use your wet saw or your grinder. Get it close. And then finish off with this. So that is exactly on the line, any cut you like. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description for most of these products. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description for most of those products, and I have an Amazon store where I have a lot of my other products that I use linked there. So you can find this plus a bunch of other stuff. Not sure I can find all the products on Amazon, but what I can, I will link to them so that if you need them and you can find them, and you know where to get them, and you'll support me and you'll support me, help me continue making these videos. And just in case you don't know who I am, this is the first time you see my video. I'm a tile installer in the Boston area. Been installing tile for over 35 years. My channel has 750 videos more, everything to do with tile. So check me out there. If you need to know how to do something to install tile, you can find me there. You can probably find it on there. I also have a Patreon page. If you want to check me out on Patreon, if you can support me there, that'd be great too. Also, leave your comments in the comment section below. And most important of all, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot.